So just to give a quick introduction about myself. So my name is Tanya Carrigal, for those who don't know me. And I want to first thank you all for being here. And I also want you to thank yourself for prioritizing you today and taking this next 25, 30 minutes to prioritize yourselves. And I want to just also start with a quick introduction about myself. So I've been studying to become a health and life coach for the last 7 months. And actually next week, I should receive my certification. So yay, I'm excited about that. But I left a career of over 20 years in the high-tech industry. And that was back in July of last year. And that was mostly because I was just stretched too thin. I had so much going on at work, working long hours, also trying to take care of my kids. I had a husband who traveled all the time. And I realized that I wasn't giving anyone my best self. I wasn't able to put 100% into anything. So I decided to make a major change in my life. And so I left my job, and I've always had a passion for health and fitness and playing competitive sports my whole life. And I've always, as a mother and an adult, strive for a balanced life. And so last fall, I enrolled in a health and life coaching program. And I very quickly realized that this is my purpose. This is what I'm meant to be doing. So now that I've finished my studies, I feel really ready to help others and help them feel at their best as well. So thank you all for being here today. And I hope that through some of these exercises and the information I'm going to provide you today, that you have some key takeaways that you can start putting into practice right away. So before we actually get into the depth of the content, I'm going to take you through an exercise that's going to put you into a relaxed state. And it's an exercise that I feel you can use at many different times throughout the day. When you feel stressed, or you just want to break from work, or you need a break from your kids, or when you're about to give a webinar. And as it relates to our topic today, as you're about to go to sleep. So it's called the 5-5-7 breath. And what you do is it actually helps you get into more of a meditative state. And so the way it works is you'll inhale for the count of 5, you'll hold your breath for the count of 5, and you'll exhale for the count of 7. And the exhale is a little bit longer than the inhale. So we're going to actually do this together. So go ahead and put your pens down if you have them in your hand, and get into a comfortable seated position, and maybe straighten your spine and pull your shoulders away from your ears. And if you're sitting at a chair, you want to put your feet flat on the ground, and your eyes can be open or closed. And we're going to try a few of these breaths together to begin, and hopefully turn on your relaxation response. So let's go ahead and inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you're going to hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and exhale for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and exhale for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and exhale for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And let's do one more together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and exhale for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And as you continue through this breath, go ahead and continue on your own. Really try to focus on your breath. And you might even find that you find a spot inside as you look inside, maybe at your forehead or what some call your third eye. And go ahead and take 5 more breaths. And we'll take 1 more breath. Okay, if you had your eyes closed, you can open your eyes. And how does everyone feel? If you want, you can please share in the chat how you're feeling. I definitely feel a lot more relaxed and ready to get started. And one of the reasons I took us through that exercise was to show you that within 2 or 3 minutes, you can actually bring yourself and your body down into a relaxed state. It's pretty amazing what the breath can do. So we're here to talk about ways to improve your sleep quality. And one of the reasons that I chose this topic today is because after surveying some of my friends and talking to some of the people in my community, I found that this has been a major challenge for many, especially through the pandemic. And it may be that you're feeling anxious, they're stressed about the amount of work they have, they're stressed about working with their kids at home. And so whatever the reason might be, our sleep has been adversely affected. And if sleep has been a challenge for you, you're in the right place. And so let's take a minute and share in the chat, what's been the biggest challenge for you around sleep? I'm glad that meditation helped you, Dee. So Kim says falling asleep, that your mind is racing. Yeah, that's such a hard place to be when you know you need to get sleep, is when things are just going crazy through your mind. So we all know that sleep is a crucial step in achieving optimal energy levels. And because when you're sleep deprived, your cortisol levels rise above normal levels, which makes your stress response kick in. And it really can be a vicious cycle, because if we're already feeling anxious and right now we're all suffering from some sort of low level chronic anxiety with the pandemic that we're in, it makes it harder to relax and go to sleep. And in addition to the lack of sleep also increases our hunger hormone called ghrelin. And ghrelin is produced mainly by our stomachs, and it compels you to seek out nourishment. And we may seek out this nourishment in harmful ways, like binge eating or binge drinking. And in addition, when you don't get enough rest, you just don't have enough energy. And when we don't have enough energy, you're looking for energy, and probably in the forms of sugar or caffeine. And of course, if you're already tired, you're probably going to make poor decisions around food as well. So today, what I'm here to talk about is how we can avoid all of that and improve your sleep quality and quantity so you can feel energized and refreshed after a good night's sleep. So we're going to talk about factors that affect quantity and quality of sleep. We're going to talk about the need for consistency around our sleeping hours. We're going to go through a power down hour and what that means. And we're going to talk about tips for falling asleep and staying. So what we eat, drink, and the environment in which we sleep can greatly affect the quantity and quality of our sleep. So I want to share with you some of the factors that can negatively affect the quality and quantity of your sleep that we need. And a friend of mine just today reminded me that often we know what to do, but we just don't always do it. So hopefully these will be quick reminders of some of the things that we should avoid. And so the first is eating late at night, and often if it's something sweet. Second, consuming caffeine after 2 p.m. The third is doing brain stimulating work before bed can certainly negatively affect your sleep. Surfing the web or being on social media right before bed or on your phone in your bed. Charging electronics next to your bed. I'm definitely guilty of that. And then watching TV in bed or right before bed. Often if it's the news, which is super negative, it can be an issue for sure. So if you feel like it, share in the chat some what you might be guilty of participating in before you go to sleep. And just looking back at some of the other issues some folks are having around sleep is waking up and not being able to go back to sleep. I definitely suffer from that as well. And then some of the factors that can negatively affect your sleep quality: eating, watching TV, eating late at night, checking emails, working before going to sleep. Yeah, these are definitely things that have our brains just go in overstimulation mode before we go to sleep. And sometimes watching TV, we might often feel like this is a way for us to wind down. But it's difficult to go from these activities to all of a sudden hopping into bed and shutting down for the night. So in a few slides, we're going to talk a little bit more detail about how we can, how some of these things really affect us and what we can do differently. So now let's talk about some of the things that can help us improve the quality and quantity of our sleep. So the first is consistency of sleep really helps normalize our circadian rhythms. And what are circadian rhythms? Circadian rhythms are physical, mental, and behavioral changes that follow a daily cycle. They typically respond to light and darkness in an organism's environment. And so sleeping at night and being awake during the day is an example of a light-related circadian rhythm. And it coordinates the natural ebb and flow of our bodily processes that happen at specific points throughout the day. So for example, we wake when the sun comes up and we sleep when the sun goes down. And our bodies, they love routine. So we want to get to a place with sleep where we're really into a routine. Now, how much sleep is enough? That's a big question. And really the answer is it depends. It really depends on you and how much sleep that you actually need. And so a lot of experts say that we should aim somewhere between 7 and 9 hours. I know through this pandemic where I haven't had to get up in the morning to get my kids off to school, I realized like my body needs 9 hours of sleep. That's my natural waking time is 9 hours, which I always thought it was 7. So really it's about finding the amount that's best for you. And we typically like variety and we like excitement, but our bodies like routine. So the consistency of a sleep routine helps your body balance its biological rhythms. which are really helpful to keep everything really just running like a well-oiled machine. So I want you to try this. For the next 7 days, try to go to sleep at the same hour and wake up at the same time every day. And that way you'll have a regular rhythm of sleep. And after 7 days, really check in with yourself to see how you're feeling. So that's going to be one of your action steps coming out of today. So as we talk about creating a routine, one of the greatest things you can do to improve both your sleep quality and your sleep quantity is to implement what I call the power down hour. So it's where you start to train your body to go to sleep, or that it's time to go to sleep in 1 hour. So here's how we employ the power down hour. You calculate what time you need to get up in the morning, and you count backwards how many hours you need to sleep. So if I go to bed, if I need to wake up at 7 and I know I need 9 hours of sleep, then I need to be lights out at 10 and I want to start my power down hour at 9. So go ahead and take a minute and calculate that for yourself. So you want to start your power down hour 1 hour before lights out, which means powering down your TV, your computer, any screens. Some of you may use your iPad or Kindle for reading at night, which is fine. It's been fine for me, but I set my screen to a very dark black background with a warm light, so you can put your devices into night mode. You may also want to set your phones to do not disturb at the start of your power down hour, so you don't get those notifications on Facebook and Instagram and text messages that compel you to respond. You might want to start dimming the lights around your house. If you're hanging out in your bedroom, start to dim those lights down so you create a more ambient environment. And then create a routine. So I mentioned earlier that our bodies like routine. So in that hour, you want to create a routine that signals to your body that you're getting physically and mentally ready to go to sleep. So they may be things like brushing your teeth, washing your face, taking a bath with Epsom salts. Often a hot bath raises our body's temperature, which helps induce sleep, or the Epsom salts help us relax our muscles and reduce some of the tension. You may want to read with a hot water bottle. I know I gave some friends a hot water bottle this year for Christmas, and it was a big hit. And it's in the winter, it's kind of nice. You can put it in your bed while you're brushing your teeth, washing your face, so when you crawl into bed, it's nice and warm. You may want to write in a journal and get some of those thoughts out, like the thoughts that are where your mind is racing. Put those out on paper. And the other thing you may want to do is start practicing meditation. That relaxation exercise that I just took you through took 2 to 3 minutes, and it brought you down into a relaxed state. So these are just some ideas. If you feel like it, feel free to share in the chat what you might start doing in your power down hour. As a good reminder about the hot water bottle. She was one of the recipients of my hot water bottle gift. Yeah, and warm triggers comfort, for sure. Yeah, the Calm app. There's some great apps out there. Calm is one, Headspace is another, Insight Timer is another. I think Insight Timer is offering it for free right now as well. So let's go into a little bit more detail on some of the things that can help us fall asleep and stay asleep. So when we're stressed, we have a hard time falling asleep and staying asleep. So our sympathetic nervous system is in overdrive. So let's just quickly, I'll give you a quick talk about the autonomic nervous system in our brains. So we have two branches in the autonomic nervous system, the sympathetic and the parasympathetic. So the parasympathetic nervous system is our rest and repair, rest and relax response, which is what we want to trigger when we're about to go to sleep. The sympathetic nervous system is one that kicks in when we're stressed. It's our fight or flight response. And the classic example of that is a textbook example, really, is that a lion's chasing you or a tiger's chasing you. When that happens, our sympathetic nervous system kicks in and it effectively directs blood to our arms and our legs for quick movement and to our brains for quick thinking. And it's a brilliant mechanism in place for survival. And while most of us don't have a lion or a tiger chasing us, we do encounter stress on a daily basis. And as we all know right now through this whole pandemic, we're all having this sort of underlying low-level chronic stress around COVID. And so on a physiological level, your body doesn't really differentiate between a lion chasing you and dealing with COVID or work, or if we're overworked. A lot of us who are working right now are working more than we have before. So when your sympathetic nervous system is activated, which is all day for most of us right now, our cortisol levels are really high. And so cortisol is the hormone that's released when we're stressed out. And as I mentioned before, it can be a vicious cycle. So if we're already in a stressed out state, it's hard for us to sleep and get into that relaxed response. So what we want to talk about are ways that we can trigger that parasympathetic nervous system to get us into a relaxed state before going to sleep. So that breathing exercises, that exercise that I took you through at the beginning, is a really great way to trigger your parasympathetic nervous system. It puts you into a meditative state. It helps us bring ourselves to the present moment and not think about the past and not think about what's next. And it can be used, like I said, before going to sleep, whenever you want to take a break from work, or you're about to give a presentation or a talk. It's a great way to bring kick in your parasympathetic nervous system. So let's talk about some other ways. So one, make your bedroom a media-free zone. So it can be very challenging for some. I know a lot of us have TVs in our bedrooms, which is fine if you have a TV in your room. Maybe just don't turn it on before you're going to sleep. Or you have an iPad or iPhone or your computer. So the effects of the blue light really keep our brain stimulated in a way that impairs our sleep. Make your bedroom more like a spa and less like a den. So use serene colors and restful colors and eliminate any clutter or distraction in your room. So you really want to create an aesthetic environment in your bedroom that really encourages sleep. And some designers even say don't put family photos in your bedroom because it just creates too much energy. Create an environment that's dark, cool, and quiet. So somewhere between 60 to 67 degrees. Either open your windows or set your AC. You may want to get blackout curtains or blinds, because light is one of the most important external factors that can affect sleep. It does so both directly by making it difficult for people to fall asleep, and indirectly by influencing the timing of our internal clock, and thereby affecting our preferred time to sleep. Where light influences our internal clock through specialized light-sensitive cells that are in our retina, in our eyes. And these cells tell the brain whether it's daytime or it's nighttime. And since modern day with artificial light and electricity, we can really trick our brains into thinking that it's daylight. So sometimes if you don't have blackout blinds, an eye mask is always a good thing to have on hand to really block out the light. You might want, as I mentioned earlier, avoid caffeine and even alcohol after 2 p.m. Many common chemicals affect both the quantity and quality of our sleep. So these include caffeine, alcohol, nicotine, antihistamines, prescription medications, antidepressants. So for those who can fall asleep after drinking caffeine late in the day, it generally decreases the quantity of our REM sleep and tends to increase the number of awakenings we have during the night. So we don't really get that good quality of sleep. And alcohol, which many of us like to have at night, or can be used as a sleep aid, it can help a person fall asleep, but again, the quality of your sleep is diminished, and often you have more awakenings during the night when you ingest a few drinks before going to sleep. Try to get 20 minutes of daylight every day. So regular exposure to daylight helps balance your circadian rhythms that I talked about earlier. And in the essence of time, I'll kind of run through that a little bit more quickly and go to the next item, which is to eat your last meal at least 2 hours before bed. Heavy meal really affects the quality and quantity of our sleep at night. It really impedes your body to detoxify overnight. So overnight, our bodies go through this detoxification process. And the body only has so many resources to put towards this. So imagine, for example, if a cleaning crew is coming into your body each night and they're ready to move all that excess waste and detoxify our bodies. But your body's like, oh no, wait, I'm digesting because I just ate my meal. You can't really come in and detoxify right now. You have to come back later. Well, the detox crew is like, well, okay, we'll come back another time. And we don't want that. We want our bodies to have that time to detoxify every single night. And then before you go to bed, you may want to start journaling. All those thoughts that you had throughout the day, or right before you go to bed, as soon as we hit the pillow, what happens? All those thoughts start racing through our mind. So perhaps have a journal next to your bed where you can brain dump everything that's on your mind, put it down on paper. And then when you finish journaling with all those thoughts, maybe you can then switch to practicing gratitude and writing out all the things that we're grateful for. Putting your mind into a positive mindset before going to sleep does wonders for our bodies and our overall well-being. So in summary, there's a few things that I hope that you take away from today. So one is to avoid all those negative sleep factors that we talked about at the beginning. 2 is to implement a consistent sleep time. And 3 is to implement your power down hour. So now that we know what we need to do, the hard part is actually committing to following through. So share in the chat what's one sleep tip that you're going to take away from today and implement in the next 48 hours. And I know we've gone over time, so I apologize. I was hoping we'd have a few minutes for questions. Yeah, the power down hour. It's an easy thing to implement. Not eat at night. Not work late into the night. So I also just want to share with you, I have another webinar coming up next Friday on ways to sort of kick your sugar habit and balance your blood sugar levels so that you can improve your energy levels. So it'll be the same time on Friday, May 22nd. And hopefully I will stick to my 30 minutes. I'm sorry, I've gone over by a few minutes each time. And so in conclusion, I hope you'll put some of this into practice, the benefits from it. And really, again, all of this is to say that we have to feed ourselves first before we can give to others. If our bucket isn't full, then we don't have any reserve to give to the other people that we love in our lives. So If you'd like to learn more or go deeper into any of these topics, I'd be happy to set up a call with you. I can tell you more about my coaching programs. If you're interested at all, here's my phone number, my email address, and my Instagram account. And I just want to say thank you. I want to express my deepest gratitude to all of you for being here today and for showing up for yourself. So I hope you have a great weekend and hope